Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever part of the world you're watching me from. I'm so delighted to be here again as we continue in our addiction recovery workshop, the proven and safest formula to overcoming any form of addiction. Welcome to this lesson. Now that we have finished our daily affirmation, to remind you that what we just did is what we'll be doing every time we show up here to take any lesson at all. We'll do our daily affirmation before the lesson. And we also know that the daily affirmation is attached to this course as a PDF. You can print it out and then recite it every day before you go out. All right, it's going to help you. I said in a previous video that there is power in spoken words. You have to speak these positive words over your life over and over again until you see them become a reality for you. So welcome to this lesson. In our previous lesson, we looked at the literatures and the backgrounds of addiction. We're able to look at the definition of addiction. We looked at the types of addiction. We looked at the forms of addiction. We looked at the causes of addiction. It was a powerful lesson. I know that you enjoyed it. So right now in this lesson, we are going to be looking at the stages and effects of addiction. The stages and effects of addiction. I needed to learn about this thing. I needed to know how much addiction can affect you. And I needed to know the stages that are to this addiction so that you will know the stage you are, and you will, when we get to the solution, which we are getting to very soon, you will know how serious you need to take this thing that is coming your way so you can be free. All right, so let's look at the stages of addiction first and later the effects of addiction. Number one stage of addiction is the experimentation stage. The experimentation stage. This stage is one of the trickiest stage of addiction because this is when you start using a substance or engage in a behavior voluntarily. You just start it because you see someone doing it, or just for the fun of it. You just want to try the substance, or you just engage in that behavior. Is just the experimentation stage. In this stage, you engage in the behavior or take the substance only once in a while. So there is no proven consequence. There is no negative consequence. The first time you view porn, the first time you masturbate, the first time you sniff that substance, you do it voluntarily with no negative social or legal consequences. All right, but this is the first stage. This is the first thing that starts. Some people who start this thing at this stage, they feel like there is nothing. But the truth is that it's better you don't even start at all. There is a say that if you want to dine with the devil, you should dine with him with a long spoon. And I would beg to say that you should not even dine with Satan at all. That is how it is when it comes to addiction. Don't even start. Don't start viewing that porn. Don't start masturbating. Don't start sniffing that substance. Don't start, because you will not know when it will become an addiction. So the first stage is the experimentation stage. And now we have the second stage is the regular engagement stage. The regular engagement stage. At this stage, the high risk behavior or use of drugs or engagement in a habit become a common occurrence, and it becomes part of your daily routine. All right. Now this is the regular use stage. At this stage, this use of drugs or engagement in that habit becomes a regular occurrence in your life, a common occurrence in your life, and you can even make it part of your daily routine. Now, you can close from school and you make it part of your routine that I will view porn every evening before I go to sleep, probably to relax. People say I view porn to relax. You can make it part of your routine that I will masturbate last thing before I go to bed. Probably you want to use it to relax. And you can also make up your mind that I will just take one bottle of alcohol or sniff that cocaine or take that marijuana and last thing before I go to sleep. Now, this is now part of your routine. This is now like the regular use stage. You see that? So when you start doing this, most of the time, you are still fully aware of the consequences. But sometimes you try to justify the consequences. Sometimes you try to excuse them. You make excuses and it's nothing. I just want to do this, it's just for fun. It's not affecting anything in my life. But that is a dangerous stage already that you are going into in the 4 stages of addiction. And the 3rd stage of addiction is the high risk engagement stage. The high risk engagement stage. The line between the regular use and the high risk engagement is very, very thin. All right. The difference is that in the regular use stage, you are still fully aware of what you are doing. You are still the one making it part of your routine. You are still the one what's the word now? You are still the one assigning it to be part of your routine. You are aware of what you are doing. Nothing is pushing you. You are just doing it because you feel you are enjoying what you are doing. But then the high risk engagement stage, at this stage now, there is this craving that is now almost beyond your control. Now the craving is now pushing you. Before you could say, last thing at night, I will sniff the drug, or last thing at night, I will masturbate, or last thing at night, I will view porn before I go to sleep. But at this point, there is not a craving for porn. You might just be in the office and something, you have this distraction in your heart that is calling you. There is this craving that is calling you to go view porn, or go masturbate, or go sniff that sometimes. You wouldn't know when you start opening porn with your office laptop. You will not know when you start excusing yourself to the bathroom to masturbate in the office. You will not understand when you start excusing yourself from the office to go take that drug, or to go drink that alcohol, or to go, have sex. You will not know when you start doing that, because there is this craving that is beyond your control. Just like the first time you test maybe ice cream, and maybe I used to vanilla flavor, and the first time you test chocolate, it's more like, wow, this is nice. And then whenever you feel like taking ice cream, you say, I think I want to add chocolate flavor to my regular vanilla. That is now your regular use. You are making up your mind when you want to buy it. But then it gets to a point where you see that, more especially for women, you understand what I'm saying. There is a stage in our monthly that you have this craving. You have this craving. No matter what you eat, there is something that you'll be craving for. I say if you don't eat it, you will die. Until you satisfy that craving, you will not be okay. Now that is the high risk engagement stage. So whatsoever it's whenever you are using a substance voluntarily, or engaging in the habits voluntarily, you are still in the experimentation stage. When you start using it regularly, you start adding it to your daily schedule. More like, okay, I masturbate once in a week, and it has to be on Friday evening after work, so I can relax. You are the one making it part of your schedule now. Then it graduates to a high risk engagement, where you now have this craving, something that is pushing you to go masturbate, or to go view porn, or to go sniff that substance. There is this craving that you can no longer control. The craving becomes unbearable. You become unafraid or unaware of the consequences. Remember, the regular use stage, you are fully aware of the consequences. You are just the one excusing it. But when it comes to the high risk engagement stage, you are now not aware or unafraid of the consequences, because the craving to engage in that habit or take the drug is now higher than your fear or justification for the consequences. And now the last stage of addiction is the addiction stage itself. Once this stage is reached, you have entered addiction and complete dependency upon the behavior or substance. At this point, you have lost total control. All right, people in the addiction stage, of which I believe some of us I was there before. There were times I used to cry while I'm masturbating. I don't want to. It looks as if something is waking you up in the middle of the night to just set. You are not dependent on the habits. You are now dependent on that substance. There are people who sniff cocaine and they'll be weeping. There are people who, after having sex, they come out and they begin to cry. They don't feel like it's something that is now beyond their control. Now you have entered the full addiction stage. All right, so I don't know the stage you are right now watching me or taking this course, but I want you to know that before the end of this workshop, whatever stage you are, if you can apply what you are learning in this workshop, I promise you that you will come out of addiction. I struggled with masturbation and pornography addiction for 16 years. All right, and I know people who have come to me who even have struggled with this addiction more than 16 years, and when they apply these things we're about to teach you, they They came out of it completely, and many of us are now free. So I want you to take this course seriously. Please don't joke with it. Some of the things we're about to learn as we're going to be moving to the recovery, the stages of recovery, which will be our next module. You are going to be learning things that if you apply to your life generally, it will help you become a better person, not just to overcome addiction. So please take it seriously. So the next thing we are going to be looking at now is the effects of addiction. What are the effects of addiction? We are going to start with, the effect of sexual addiction. And don't forget, sexual addiction, or under sexual addiction, we have masturbation, we have pornography, and we have sex itself. So we are going to be looking at the effect of sexual addiction. And of course, the sexual addiction we are going to be looking at from here. We are going to look at the effect, and in the next module, we are going to look at how to overcome sexual addiction. And then we now step to social media addiction, how to overcome, and then substance addiction, how to overcome, and then we get to the end of our workshop. I'm so excited for you because I know your life will never remain the same. So now, what are the effects of masturbation addiction? What are the effects of masturbation addiction? For men, one of the effects of masturbation addiction is sore genitals. Sore genitals. When men masturbate frequently, they will suffer from a disease called edema. It is a disease in which the part of the body swells up because of the retention of fluid in the body tissue. This usually happens when excessive pressure is put around certain parts of the body. So in the man's private part, this excessive pressure he's putting on it while he masturbates. I know men that masturbate 5 times in a day, 4 times in a day, even more. So the man's private part swells up with continual irritation. So that's one of the effects of masturbation in men. It causes swollen genitals. It's a disease called edema. And then the second effect of masturbation in men is low sperm count. Low sperm count. When a man masturbates excessively, the body capacity to build testosterone begins to reduce, begins to hinder, and it's a good reason for low sperm count. As a man, one of the things that can actually happen to you, most especially a young person, even as a married man, you wouldn't want to have low sperm count. So what you are doing right now, you're actually sacrificing your future babies in the altar of masturbation. It's not worth it. That is one of the effects. Another effect of masturbation is lack of focus. As I mentioned before, I struggled with masturbation for over 16 years. Sometimes when the urge to masturbate starts, you will not be able to focus on anything anymore until you satisfy that craving. So lack of focus is another effect of masturbation. Imagine that you are caught up, you're supposed to write an exam tomorrow, or you are just in the middle of something serious, and this craving comes, this urge comes. It's an addiction. You don't have control over it. So this craving comes, this urge comes, this struggle, and then you are just struggling to focus between doing what is important to you, what you are supposed to do at that particular time, and masturbating. And until you satisfy this craving, your focus will be wavering. You want to do this, your mind will be somewhere else, and sometimes you just find yourself making mixtapes where you are not supposed to. So lack of focus is one of the effects of masturbation. For women, one is inserting all manner of objects into your private part. You can get deflowered. Yeah, I know people who say I'm a virgin, but they masturbate. So when you are inserting all manner of things into your private parts, you can get deflowered. Most of you watching me right now, you might think you're still a virgin, but you are not you are no longer a virgin. You have been deflowered because you insert all manner of things into your private part. It can also introduce infection into your genitals and your womb through the usage of sexual materials. It will be very difficult for you to convince your future partner that you never had sex with any man. That's the truth. It can introduce infection, it can deflower you. So imagine you telling your future partner I'm a virgin, and then maybe the night of your wedding or something, they begin to wonder what is going on. So as you are inserting those things into your private part, you may have actually been deflowered already. You are no longer a virgin. Another effect of masturbation, general effect now for both men and women, is that it kills your ability to enjoy sex in the future. It kills your ability to enjoy sex in the future. Millions of women and men don't enjoy sex in marriage due to their past life of either lesbianism or masturbation. That is the truth, because masturbation is like mental sex. You are imagining things in your head. You are imagining so many sexual adventures in your head, and you are trying it out. So the truth is that as you do this thing, sometimes you begin to build unrealistic expectations in your head. So you find it very difficult to enjoy sex with your partner when you you finally get married. That is another effect of masturbation. As men, you are prone to experience premature ejaculation, thereby denying your partner or your wife satisfactory sex. As men, you are prone to experience premature ejaculation. The truth is that the length of time it takes to have real sex is not the same with the length of time it takes to masturbate. Sometimes all you just feel is just to feel relief, and then you just masturbate. But when it comes to having real sex with your partner, two people are involved. That's why they say masturbation is bad, because it's selfish. You are just thinking about yourself. But when it comes to having intimacy with your partner, two people are involved. So at this point, the partner's satisfaction should also be taken into consideration. That is the truth. So when you start, when you masturbate excessively, more especially as a young person, and then you get married later, you are prone to experience premature ejaculation, and it's going to deny your partner of what? Satisfactory during sex. Praise the Lord. You start having sex in your dream, you feel drained, dirty, empty, and powerless. That's the truth. Anytime you finish masturbating, speaking from experience, you begin to feel dirty, you feel empty, you feel powerless. Most especially when it's an addiction, you feel drained, you feel like something has gotten out of you. Like, that is why some people weep after masturbating, because they don't want to, but they just find themselves doing this thing. They're struggling. They really, really don't want to. They feel dirty, they feel frustrated, they feel tired at the end of the day, but they can't just stop. That is okay. You get hurt, you get damaged, you get broken. The same thing as I said before, when people struggle with masturbation addiction, most especially, they finish masturbating and they begin to feel frustrated. I know how people reach out to me. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I'll receive a text message, Sister Kate, I did it again. They're feeling bad, they're feeling frustrated, but they just can't stop. It's a spirit. It's a spirit. There is something beyond your control that is pushing you into that thing. And as I said before, as you have signed up for this workshop, this is just the bus stop for it. As such, you're going to listen, apply, and do all the things that are going to be taught to you in this workshop. This is just the end to that frustration, to that addiction forever, and God will help us in the name of Jesus. What are the effects of porn addiction? The effects of porn addiction. Remember, the first one is the effects of masturbation addiction. The effects of porn addiction, number one, is withdrawal from social activities, like choosing porn over people. Yes, I know people that when they are out there the whole day, all they think about is how to get home and watch porn. So sometimes you see even a father who join from his family, they lock themselves inside the room. You'll be wondering what they are doing. A child will join from his family, friends. You come back, sometimes when you stay in the hostel or you stay in the same apartment with your friends in school, they come and they're just in one corner doing something. You begin to wonder, why is this person not relating with people? So people who watch porn most of the time withdraw from social activity. They choose porn over people, and that makes them to develop a secret life. Many people who watch porn treat other people, most especially the opposite sex, as sex objects. They treat the opposite sex as sex object. They get wrapped in the opposite sex. They begin to see them as sexual objects. They start having sex with anything. That's the truth. I've seen people have come and confessed it to me. Say, since I started watching porn, anytime I see a woman that looks like the person I saw in a pornographic video, all I can think about is have sex with them. Some people, they sit down in their offices, and when a lady walk in, all they are thinking about is how to have sex with this lady, because what they are seeing, it looks like what they see in their pornographic video. You understand? So they get wrapped in the opposite sex. The same thing, it goes either ways. Even men to women, women to men, they just get wrapped in the opposite sex. You begin to have harmful sexual behavior. Yeah, people who watch porn have harmful sexual behavior. Many of them rape other people. Many of them have this violent sex. I have people that will tell you, I can't understand. They met a guy, and the guy is just well-mannered, he behaves well. But when it comes to, relating with the guys sexually, he becomes a beast. Many people who watch porn do that. They get wrapped up. They get this harmful sexual behavior. They rape, force themselves, rape, like harmful sexual behavior, like rape, like violent sex and all that. Many of them lost emotional closeness with their partners. They lost emotional closeness with their partners. They're not attached to pornography. What they think about is porn. When they see a partner, as I said before, they see their wife. The wife does not look like the woman that's seen in the porn video. And I said it before. I said that many times these things are not even real. That's the truth. So this unrealistic expectation, this unrealistic thing has been built in your mind. So you see your partner, they don't look like what you see in the porn video. So that emotional closeness in marriage, you lost that emotional closeness in marriage because you are addicted to porn. What you want is what you are seeing in your porn video. Lack of sexual satisfaction. Sometimes they lost interest in sex with their real life partners, unrealistic fantasies, lack of focus and productivity. I cannot overemphasize on this: masturbation, pornography, any form of addiction at all. One of the reasons you know it's an addiction is that it's affecting your productivity. When you want to do something meaningful with your life, you feel you can just stop in the middle of something important. You excuse yourself from meetings. You know, it has happened to me before. I'm not just talking because I want to talk. You excuse yourself from meetings. You excuse yourself from important things you're supposed to do in your life just to sneak in and satisfy that addiction craving. Spiritually, for those that are, spiritual people, I believe many of us here are, it's a sin before God. It's a sin before God. All right. So these are some of the effects of sexual addiction. These are some of the effects of the major effect of sexual addiction. Please do not forget, it affects your productivity. It causes some sicknesses. You are preparing to get married. I read a story recently on the internet that a lady was saying that she met a guy and they were planning to get married, and then she told the guy that they are not going to have sex until marriage, and the guy agreed, and she didn't know that the guy was serving porn. And then when they before they got married, or when they got married, she now noticed that this guy served porn a lot. And then when he approached the guy was like, it is because we were not having sex during relationship, so I use this to whole body. I think that was before they got married, and she allowed him because the guy promised her that after they get married and they start having sex, he will no longer view porn. But unfortunately, she was crying out in the internet because she needed help. In fact, she asked for a divorce before she came out to put that story out there in the internet, because after they married, the guy continued serving porn. That's the truth. That is a lie that some of you are telling yourselves right now. And let me just do it now. When I get married and I start having real life sex, the truth is that you will never want to even have real life sex anymore. You get wrapped up in that pornography. That what all you will want is that pornography. And the truth is that the women and the men you see in that pornography video, you may never see them in real life. The kind of sexual activities you watch in that pornography video, you may never have it in real life. That is the truth. So these are the effects of pornography. Do not deceive yourself that when I get married, I will stop. You have to stop it now. You have to build discipline around your life and your destiny now. You need to love yourself, love your children, love your partner, and love your destiny enough to stop it now. This is the time to stop. Not when. As those that are married, many people are frustrated in their marital home because of this pornography, masturbation, and sexual addiction. They are frustrated. A woman is addicted to some kind of sexual activities that the man cannot understand, and there is nothing the man will do that will give her satisfaction. And the man too is wrapped up in some pornography activities that the woman cannot understand. There is nothing she does that gives her satisfaction. People have sex once in 3 months in marriage, once in 2 months in marriage, and the woman will have to. I've had stories of women who have to practically, beg and quarrel, even call family meetings for their husbands to lay with them because the husband is wrapped up in pornography. You see that now. So it's a very dangerous thing. And I hope that by the grace and the mercy of God, you have made up your mind. Even if you do not make up your mind before signing for this workshop, I want to believe that by the grace of God, with the effects you have had, the stages of addiction, the causes, and everything that you have had so far, you have actually made up your mind to stop this addiction once and for all. Thank you for being here, and I want you to move quickly to the next module. The next module in the lesson 1, we're going to start how to overcome sexual addiction. So it's how to overcome masturbation, how to overcome pornography, and how to overcome sex generally. That's what we are moving into right now. And we're going to be having some amazing people speak to us. I'm so excited. Like, I'm going to the next module with my pen and paper too, because I really want to learn. As I told you before, some of the things you are going to start learning right from this next module are the things that will change and affect your life generally, not just to overcome addiction. See you in the next lesson.